Tonight, a nuclear waste facility could be a possible target for terrorist activity, and the first flood of tertiary students at Port Pirie's new university hub.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Casey Treelaw begins now.
Good evening. Newly released government documents have revealed the nuclear waste facility proposed for Kimber and Hawker could become a target for terrorist activity. The document also cites the potential for radioactive material to be used in a dirty bomb.
A potential terrorism threat in outback South Australia.
Clearly, this is a risk. It's a serious risk.
Freedom of Information documents obtained by Senator Rex Patrick show that in 1995, the Department of Defence identified drums of nuclear material at the Woomera protected area as a target for
terrorist activity aimed at accessing the facility.
Specifically, the ability to make a dirty bomb, an explosive combined with radioactive and conventional explosive material. The Senator says there would be a similar risk at the proposed nuclear waste facility at either Kimber or Hawker.
The community needs to be informed of the risk, and the government needs to walk through with them the response that would be required.
Locals say they were briefed on the security threat.
It's nothing new to us because this was raised back in 2016.
But every time they tried to raise the issue again, it was brushed aside by the government.
It was always glossed over, then it's shelved under, righto, move along to the next question.
Though the federal government says the facility will pose no security or safety risk to either community. In a statement, they also added that 14 of the 45 jobs created will be dedicated security operations personnel, which will, like other nuclear facilities, be intelligence-led and be able to be scaled up at short notice. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Golf News.
In some breaking news this afternoon, and the nation's largest grain handler, Viterra, will no longer use railway networks on the Eyre Peninsula from May 31st. The company currently uses the Genesee and Wyoming rail line to transport grain from northern Eyre Peninsula to Port Lincoln. But from June 1st, the company will shift to transport by road.
It's about the future efficiency and cost effectiveness of the supply chain, so we remain competitive internationally.
However, the South Australian Freight Council has responded with disappointment. The rail network is no longer economical for grain transportation. They say the move will see thousands of additional truck movements on Eyre Peninsula roads. A 45-year-old man has been arrested for stealing a car with a dog inside from a car park in Port Pirie. On Sunday afternoon, the owner of a silver Subaru went into a shopping centre, leaving his car on to keep the air conditioner running for his pet dog. Police spotted the stolen car and alleged dog thief heading south on the Augusta Highway, travelling about 170 kilometres an hour. The man was further charged with drink driving after allegedly recording a blood alcohol reading of 0.084. The dog was unharmed during the incident. Warm temperatures are being blamed for high mortality rates of oysters on the Eyre Peninsula earlier this month. Authorities say they initially feared the deaths were caused from an outbreak of the deadly POMS disease, shutting down bays and the transportation from one farm which lost 50% of its stock. But the disease has now been ruled out.
That mortality wasn't happening everywhere, but we also get those samples straight to the lab, and by the next day we had results back showing that it was an infectious disease.
With the recent scare, experts are reminding the community to help reduce any possible spread of the disease by not disposing of dead oysters into the ocean. New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro has turned on the Wentworth to Broken Hill pipeline today. While he says it's a positive step for the city, locals are concerned about its ongoing costs.
Opening the valves, and like that, Broken Hill is receiving Murray River water.
Everyone got it? It's a celebration of a pipeline, a lifeblood for this community, a proud day, a historic day. And
today saw the $500 million Wentworth to Broken Hill pipeline turned on to secure the Silver City's water supply. It won't be supplying water entirely for a number of months though, as water testing continues. However, local activists believe the pipeline's turning on will spell the end of the Darling River and Menindee Lakes. Mr Barilaro saying it's not so.
But on our watch, we'll invest in the infrastructure that brings water security and the amenity, both for the environment, for community and for our irrigators.
Another concern residents have for this pipeline is its price tag. The state government has committed to covering the project's maintenance and operation costs for the next 2 years. After that, it's unknown.
The guarantee from this government of the day, they are still the government, that Broken Hill residents will not have to pay for this pipeline at all.
Water flowing, but at what cost? Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Some of Port Augusta Prison's most violent inmates will undergo a trial to test the effects of omega-3 on curbing aggressive behaviour. Positive results could see the fatty acid become a staple in the corrections system.
This prison is the largest in the state, and it houses some of the most dangerous criminals. But a new test could soon see their aggressive actions improve.
So this trial is looking at the effect of omega-3 on aggressive behaviour.
Professors at the University of Wollongong will study the effects of increased omega-3 in the blood of inmates at 6 correctional centres across New South Wales and South Australia, including Port Augusta.
And then that change should be associated with the improvement in scores of aggressive behaviour.
The government-funded trial will use incident reports within the prison to identify some of the most violent inmates.
Those inmates that have scored 1 or higher, they will be invited to participate in this trial.
Those involved will take either the omega-3 or a placebo, and the research will also investigate the fatty acids' effects on mental health and muscle growth.
And they'll take the supplements for 16 weeks, and then we'll do the post-16-week assessments.
The trial is the first of its kind in Australia and will begin in Port Augusta next year. Positive results could see omega-3 supplements become staples in the prison system.
We hope that it all goes well, and we're really looking forward to the outcomes.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Plans for a 5-storey apartment complex along Port Lincoln's foreshore has been scrapped after a lack of interest for the project. Instead, the building will now become 2 Art Deco-themed luxury houses.
It's bringing a bit of 1920s to the modern day as plans to restore this old building get underway.
It was starting to crack in some places, so that's all finished now. And now it's all being put back together, and that's the exciting bit.
The original outline for the location was to have a 5-storey apartment complex, but with little interest from buyers, the plan was scrapped after 4 years.
We needed to make a decision. Would we apply to continue, or would we allow it to lapse, and we've let it lapse.
The building will now be separated into 2 apartments, one having a sea view while the other a garden view. The exterior of both buildings showcasing the Art Deco theme.
We'll try to enhance the deco feature of the exterior, and we'll also bring a nod to the deco style in the name, so they'll be called Deco Beach.
The design's adding new features to the building while still paying homage to its rich past.
We have preserved the building structurally and some of the original features, the beautiful terrazzo floor in the bathroom.
The 2 apartments are set to be completed by the end of March. Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, tertiary students first look at Port Pirie's new university hub and a triumphant return for the Broken Hill Country Women's Association. Welcome back. Port Pirie's multi-million-dollar university hub has opened its doors to its first influx of students. The new learning facility now offers people the choice to undertake tertiary study locally.
An historic first for the region. A smoke ceremony and the cutting of a ribbon marking the opening of the new uni hub, Spencer Gulf in Port Pirie. There was a long-standing line of students and residents eager to get a look inside the new facility.
The ability to stay, study and work in the region is now a reality. Study locally and interact and learn beside other students, the same as what the major city people have.
The region's youth will no longer have to travel to Adelaide for higher education, now having the freedom to choose where they want to learn.
Kids, and not only our kids, our mature students as well, don't have to go to Adelaide to get that tertiary level of education.
Already we've got 50 people that have actually lined up to have a go at some sort of course, so I think we're going to make big inroads.
The library has undergone quite the transformation, from its former use as a gymnastics venue. Now the facility boasts a state-of-the-art computer bays, a study lounge and sectioned-off conference areas, with each component integral to developing a local campus culture.
We now have a facility with a full-time coordinator and director and a fully operative board, fit-for-purpose study spaces.
Uni Hub will be facilitating an O-Week with classes set to start next Monday. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Fishing enthusiasts can rejoice over a long-awaited announcement that the Port Davis jetty is set to be refurbished. It comes as the jetty located just outside of Port Pirie has become a safety hazard.
Taking a walk off a short pier, Port Davis jetty has become a safety hazard, now requiring urgent upgrades.
What we want to do is encourage people to go land-based fishing, so we've approved a $45,000 refit at the front part of the jetty.
The piles and decking at the end of the jetty are set to be replaced, along with a welcomed addition of new stairs and hand railing. Less corrosive materials will be used to ensure the upgrade can last the test of time. The metal platform has suffered severe rust damage and sections are now dangerous to fish from.
If you went to walk out there at the moment, you've got a good chance of falling through the holes. The erosion has been so bad on that front end of the jetty.
The weather has been quite harsh on Port Davis's jetty, rusting the surface and making it quite dangerous to walk on. Port Pirie's Regional Council is seeking to rectify the safety hazard by putting the jetty through a complete refurbishment. A South Australian contractor has been assigned with the refit, one who specialises in maritime infrastructure.
The front part of the jetty, it'll be a fiberglass construction. It'll be a little bit softer on foot and not so cold if you want to go out there during the evening.
Construction is set to begin in March, with the works expected to be completed by the end of the month.
You should be able to get yourself a good feed of fish, and there's a lot that goes through there during that night.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
With the final week of summer upon us, our region is set for one final blast of extreme temperatures. A high pressure system in the Great Australian Bight is bringing hot conditions to the region. Temperatures will be in the high 30s until Friday, when it'll climb to over 40 degrees. A code red has been declared by the state government, while the CFS is on high alert. Simon Tinkey from the Weather Bureau says hot air from Central Australia is the cause.
So those northeast and northerly winds will bring that hot air down, and then once this trough moves through, we'll see the winds swing round.
The cool change is expected to reach us by Sunday. Cummins artist Leah Jericho has won this year's People's Choice Award in the Bendigo Bank Port Lincoln Art Prize. Her winning entry, Stalking, was influenced by the local environment around the Eyre Peninsula. Voting was a month-long process, with locals visiting the gallery to cast their vote. As People's Choice winner, Miss Jericho receives a $500 cash prize. It was Port Lincoln artist Emma Fuss who won the overall Port Lincoln Art Prize on January 10. The Broken Hill Country Women's Association has celebrated its one-year anniversary this week. It comes as the local branch was reopened in 2018 after being closed for nearly 25 years.
A special milestone with a piece of cake to celebrate it.
We have strength in numbers for an organisation that is only 1 year old, but I think from our perspective we will continue to grow.
Last year, the Country Women's Association Broken Hill branch was re-established. It was felt by many women in the region that it should return after being inactive for a quarter of a century.
And there was a lot of interest from particularly younger women in our community.
The Broken Hill sector is just a small part of a much larger organisation stretching across Australia and the world. In New South Wales alone, the CWA has given out over $7 million in drought relief.
The local group is also doing fundraising activities to be able to be a standalone branch to be able to assist community and farming communities as well.
One of those fundraisers will be a high tea event at the Broken Hill Civic Centre in April. The money raised through events like these goes towards supporting Silver City families.
We are sharing a lot of ideas about the best way that we can support our community and our rural families, remembering that Broken Hill is a service centre for the region, not just the city.
CWA Broken Hill meets on the last Monday of every month. Patrick Royenke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll bring you all the latest sport results and we'll have this week's weather details with Nicole. Hello again. Turning to sport, and the Roadrunners' good form has continued in wireless softball over the weekend. They had a batting field day against the hapless Eagles on their way to a big win. John Hunt joins us now, and John, it was an impressive performance.
They did, Casey, with finals just around the corner. Each side is looking to take good form into the end of the season. The Roadrunners did exactly that, with a comprehensive win over the Eagles. Roadies piled on the runs over the course of the match to secure a 21-3 win. In the other softball clash, the Tigers were too strong for the Indians, winning by 10 runs. Meanwhile, the Tigers baseball side also had a good weekend in Whyalla, with a 9-2 win over the Indians. It was prelim final time in Port Lincoln softball. The Eagles are through to the grand final after an 8-run win over the Roadrunners. Sam Higgins scored a hat-trick of runs, while Hayley Wiseman got 6 outs. Basketball now, and in Whyalla men's, Rapina were too strong for Bevan, and the Wildcats had a narrow win over Titans. While in the women's, Roos were too strong for Titans, while Demons 1 defeated Demons 2. In Port Perry women's, the Pacers had a comfortable win over the Tomcats, while 19 points from Claire Shipless helped Globetrotters secure a win. And in the men's, ladder leaders the Ducks and second place Pacers got the points. Turning to Port Augusta men's, Eagles had a 19-point win over the Cobras, while Titans came close to an upset over the first-place Wildcats, eventually splitting the points. While in the women's, both Spartan sides were victorious. And in Port Lincoln, Rangers White had a close win over bitter rivals Rangers Blue, while WAYBACKS stunned Premiership favourites the Sharks. So that's all from another big week of sport. Plenty going on as the summer sports wrap up for another season, while the winter sports finish off their pre-season preparations.
And time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Nicole.
Thanks, Casey. Well, more hot and sunny conditions over the region today. Port Augusta with another 40-degree day. Whyalla 36, Port Lincoln 28, Broken Hill 36, Port Pirie 39 and Adelaide sunny and 36 degrees. On the satellite today, cloud over northeastern SA with a trough is triggering thunderstorms with little to no rain. Mostly clear elsewhere due to a high pressure system. Looking at the waters for tomorrow, south to southwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots, seas at 1.5 metres. Tomorrow, another hot day. Port Augusta 40 degrees, Whyalla 36, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay both 31, Woodner 41, Corn 39, Broken Hill 37, Port Pirie 39, Clare 37, Cleve 36, Kadina and Adelaide similar conditions 37 degrees. Looking to the end of the week, Port Lincoln temperatures starting to rise again by Friday, 36 degrees. Cleve will see 41 on Friday and Woodner temperatures staying in the low 40s. More hot days for Whyalla, 37 on Thursday, 40 on Friday. Port Augusta, hot temperatures here to stay a little while longer, and Kadina in the high 30s. Port Pirie, some cloud about on Thursday and Friday with 40 degrees on the way. Clare also expecting some cloud cover, 38 on Thursday, and Broken Hill, dry and hot conditions, 37 on Friday. And Casey, that's all for tonight's weather. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Nicole. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening.